皆さんこんにちは。マシューさんと言います。エリックさんのポッドキャストへようこそ。今日は楽しみにしていました。じゃあ皆さん英語では続けましょう。
I was hoping you dropped some Japanese. I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
put anyone on the spot.
No.
First things first. What was it like having that cameras?
The audience deserves a little context here because Eric says cameras.
The disposable cameras were not built to be run over by a few cars. But we have this second roll of film for you, and I'm very excited to jump in.
So excited, man.
All right, before we get started into the photos,
Yes, sir.
first things first, what was it like having that cameras with you throughout the summer and throughout the fall?
So the audience deserves a little context here because, as you might have heard, Eric says cameras. Well, the first rendition, we do have a story behind, and I guess I'll paint the scene. Lovely September day, finished off the camera, so excited. Turning it to Eric, it's when I first was able to check out this studio as well. Feeling good, I'm gonna go get myself a chicken sandwich. Pulling in with my good friend Nicholas, and we're off, and I get a text message. My friend, I have some news.
So I had the camera at the studio that day. I put it in my coat pocket. If you don't know me, I ride an e-bike. I also had some reason to bring my other actual camera on, so I had it like slung over me as I was riding on this e-bike. And I was riding the e-bike, and I remember someone pulling up to me, almost like veering off to get onto the highway, but kind of giving me like a little honk of the horn. You know, when you're on an e-bike,
They're
you never know
along.
why.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just trying not to look, but they were quite insistent on me looking on over to them. And sure enough, she gives me like this kind of sign. Now I was like, are they just like,
Does that mean they wanted the picture?
oh, are you a
taken?
photographer, or are you videotaping this? Like, and I was like, so my mind went immediately to this camera.
Yeah.
I get to my destination and it hits me. I was like, oh yeah, in my coat pocket. Nothing's in the coat pocket. And to put all the puzzle pieces together there, and then to feel my heart sink, and then to go back to where they went like this, and I searched for quite a bit.
Yeah.
The
Just picture on the side of the road, just like.
Yes, the disposable cameras were not built to be run over by a few cars. So, unfortunately, the roll of film was found. If film is exposed to sunlight before it's developed, the photos get washed out.
So yeah, that's the part I didn't know as well, because obviously we still had the roll intact, but the exposure was the issue. So, I mean, and the mangled beast of a picture that I was sent of just pieces on the ground.
Yes. But we have this second roll of film for you, and I'm very excited to jump in.
So excited, man. I can't lie. I think you asked about my perspective with regards to the project, how it went, and I think we both kind of had a moment where we were just like, what do we do next? Like, this is like something you've built up for, well, a few months at that point in time. It's ones that I definitely were a little bit more calculated in my taking of and consideration for. And I was like, man, I really wanted to see those photos. So it was definitely a moment where we had to take a step back and reflect for a moment. And obviously you gave me some time. You said, hey, I just need a moment to figure out what we want to do next. And I'm so glad that we kept going and had a redo of the camera process.
Hi, my friend. Photo number 1. I would love some context with.
Ooh, man, this is a raw photo. What am I even doing? I'm lost in the sauce with my meal there. So this is my squad right here. This is my squad. This is at one of our favorite spots to go. Through high school and through college, I've always brought any one of my friends who were in for some stir fry to this spot. This is Gobi Mongolian Grill, Southington, Connecticut. One of my favorite places to go, man. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet style, so essentially you walk in, everyone's super friendly there, they seat you. I go for the waters, you can get a Coke if you'd like, and then you go and you self-serve all of the meats, all of the different vegetables, everything like that. You stack it up. Got to make sure you get 2 sauces as well. You're going to be tempted to just get 1 sauce. Get 2. It's a lot of food, and it needs to soak. And then you bring it up to this middle section where they have two gentlemen chefing it up along the fire. They've got the oil going and everything, man. Wow. One of my favorite spots. I'm eternally grateful to, I can't recall exactly which friend introduced me originally, but eternally grateful for the Gobi recommendation. Great spot, great spot. So yeah.
What's the crew like? What's the vibe at that dinner like?
It's always fun, man, especially so every time I go, I feel like there's always at least one or two people who haven't been before. So there's a handful of people who know the secrets, some of which I might have divulged just now, and then others who will inevitably go through I think this is the right way, and maybe have a redo. It's obviously all you can eat, so if your first plate isn't the best, maybe don't pile it on super heavy, but your second one can even be better. So honestly, in a way, you kind of compare it to photo taking in that you try one thing, you experiment a little bit. This time you taste it, so you're like, oof, that really wasn't great. And your second go around is the one, hopefully. You make little tweaks, change what you need, change the angle, and you're looking good.
All right, my friend. Photo number 2. Give me that context. What's going on?
Let's see. Oh, if it's something that you don't know about me, I've been self-studying Japanese for probably about a year now. But yeah, I really have challenged myself to learn the language, do a little bit of artistry, I guess, in trying to navigate the written format of Japanese as well. It's one of the things that is definitely a challenge. But it's been very eye-opening in seeing, if you put your mind to it, just how much you can learn. Just a year ago, I wouldn't even have been able to fumble over the words that I just said, and now it's like, okay, it's a thinking process. It's kind of a game, and I feel like you level yourself up with each little time you are like, I'm not sure. So, man, it's been a journey, and it's ongoing. It's ongoing for sure.
I love it. I was hoping you dropped some Japanese. I don't want to put anyone on the spot.
No. It's so funny too, because back when I was at Lululemon, I had an interview that I was conducting with another one of my peers, and they challenged me to do that at the interview with 5 random people that I didn't know. And at that moment in time, I was, I don't know. I don't want to make a fool out of myself, but that's just ultimately how you get better, and especially when it comes to languages, they're built off of intuitive learning. So as you get more comfortable, as you hear more of the language, that's how you're going to really improve, and challenging yourself and fumbling sometimes is going to happen.
All right, my friend. 2 photos down. Photo number 3.
Let's go. Ooh, awesome. So, man, this is so much fun, I gotta say. So this is right outside my apartment, actually. It's this little walkway that I was in the process of reconstructing. I gotta give major props to my twin brother for kind of inspiring me during this summer exit, fall entryway period of kind of doing little landscaping things. I took this photo because I was like, what beautiful imagery for being in process and not being too dissatisfied with this is in the works right now. I think it's something that a lot of people need to remind themselves of, and probably something that even yourself as a creator have gone through. So it's one of those things where I wanted to capture that moment visually, and one of those ones where I was a little bit more set up with, I didn't place the bucket exactly there for this moment or anything like that, but just kind of set myself up at the angle that I thought would be interesting to show the whole piece, and ultimately talk a little bit about what I was doing at that time. So, yeah.
Incredible. The Lowe's bucket stood out to me, and I feel like sometimes maybe a mundane scene, as the viewer, you might look at it and say, like, why is this scene important? But I think that was a really good hint of, either construction's being done here, or what's that bucket doing in the middle of the walkway?
Yeah.
So I think it was a really clever way of incorporating that bucket into that natural scene.
Looking back on it as well. No, thank you for saying that. I think for me, looking back on it now, with holistically, the photo is primarily green, so the blue does definitely have some contrast, which is nice. For me, it was more so just all the rocks. So when my dogs run down here, they're always spreading them around the sides. And it was kind of an easy way for me to just go around and kind of pick up the ones that I had off to the side and repurpose them up top. So it was more like, it's more functional than the artistic purpose. But yeah, it turned out really awesome, and I'm happy with it. For sure.
I feel like this is your maybe most mindful photo. Like, I would imagine that you took a little bit of time taking this photo.
Man, you've chosen some great ones, man. I was actually talking to my brother earlier today. I was like, I hope he chooses this photo, because it's one of those where it pretty much defines that season for me in a visual. So for reference, this is a maple tree that I planted with my family when we were very, very young. And it's since grown, tenfold, 20-fold. I'm not quite sure, but it's pretty much a telltale symbol for me that fall is coming and winter is near. And it's so awesome to me because it always starts off fully green, and the top piece here, this was a little bit further down the line because you see the red on the right-hand side a little bit, and the top is still, fiery. But I always see it as this kind of wave of red that kind of encompasses the full tree, and ultimately once fall is towards the end and the leaves start to fall, the whole thing will become red. But it's this awesome, awesome portrayal of the passage of time. And I really, really loved the way in which it looked like the tree was on fire, especially at the beginning of the season when just the tip is a little bit more of that red and orangey color. So one of my favorites. This is just out looking on my yard here in the maple tree. Man, one of my favorites for sure.
I think we're discovering a theme in a few of these photos, which is the compounding effects of time and effort. And although nothing's ever built in a day, you can't learn a language in a day, you can't plant a tree in a day, you can't create maybe the life that you want to live or any creative projects. But trusting that process, doing a few things at a time, breaking it down. Do you feel like you've always had that type of approach to what you do?
Truthfully, I feel like it's still something that I'm working on today. I don't know if anyone can, speaking from I suppose, I don't think I can confidently say that it's something that I've always had. I think it's something that's developed. And you mentioned compounding, and I think that's a really key term in pretty much any aspect where you're looking to accumulate or grow, whether it's knowledge, whether it's wealth, whether it's health. All of those things are little steps, little implementations of maybe habitual change is necessary. But for me, I think it's something that I'm still actively working on, still finding ways that work for me as well. Not everyone is going to be the same in that regard. But as long as you're taking note of where you want to go and breaking it down, sectioning it off like we had talked about, compounding is going to do its thing.
Matt, we have a final photo here. This one's special. So, talking about our process of choosing the photos, I went into the bag and I pulled out all the photos, and I was going through them, and I had chosen 5. And then when I was putting back in the bag, I recognized that I forgot one photo. And so this was the final photo.
Oh, man.
I also feel like it is going to wrap up everything quite nicely. So give me your impressions. Tell me what's going on in this photo.
Whoa. Wow, it's so awesome to see the final product versus what you envision in your mind. It definitely has dawned on me that I need to work on my focusing ability. All right, guys, so this is in my apartment. This is a dream catcher that I hang from one of the shelving attached to my wall. My brother helped me hang it up. And this dream catcher was gifted to me, I believe, by my grandmother. I could not tell you, eons ago. However, it's really special to me because I love the idea of capturing dreams. Now, you see in the center here, our little friend in the middle has a little slip, it looks like, that he's holding. And this is actually a fortune that I received quite a while ago, too. Sorry, y'all, for looking for specific timelines on my life here, but I don't have this one in the memory bank. But it says, "Look to the dreams that keep coming back, for it is your destiny." And I thought that fortune cookie was a little too profound. I was like, fortune cookies are usually a little bit more casual. Like, you're going to have a great day tomorrow and look for a good friend to help you. I was like, that is a little bit too gnarly of a fortune to just discard. So I kept it, and fitting enough, it's inside of this dream catcher as well, which I think adds to another layer of the interest there. But it's one of my favorite pieces to just display. I've always had a thing for dream catchers and kind of the symbolic nature of taking away maybe dreams, in this case, dreams that are a little bit more negative, but dreams that also might be holding you back, or dreams that might be ones that are you're not actually looking to move towards an action on, and withholding, keeping close the ones that you do still believe in. And I think this is a little bit more of a symbol of that. But I think as an art piece, it's just really nostalgic for me as well, which is awesome, and something that I really enjoy to display. So.
Can I get a bit poetic?
Yeah.
You mentioned the focusing.
Yep.
I interpreted it as how our dreams can sometimes we know the shape, we can see the broad picture.
Yeah.
But it comes down to that detail of almost just having to trust that process.
You got to figure the details out.
Figure the details
Yeah.
out. You have to learn how to focus a bit more to get that full image.
Wow.
How does that resonate with you?
That's awesome, man. I think it's funny. My perspective here was just what I intended was just a clear picture. I even might have wanted the words to be visible so everyone in the audience doesn't think I'm just lying. They're like, he made that up off the top. There's no way. But no, legitimately, that's what it says on the paper. And it's really awesome how you can take that perspective of, man, I should have done better there, and use it as a, wait, we're moving right here. This is looking good. I just need another viewpoint. And I think the awesome thing about having another person to bounce ideas off of and share perspectives with is that you'll get that. If you're surrounding yourself with the people that want the best for you as well, you're going to get that positive feedback, or that constructive, hey, maybe we should try it from this angle instead. Or maybe if you didn't use the blindingly close flash right up against it, you might get a clearer shot. So with regards to blurriness and dreams and chasing them, I think ultimately we don't know that summit until we're kind of in the midst of climbing it. And it's going to look a little different for everyone. We've kind of come back to that theme a bit. But I'm really grateful that you shared that perspective on it as well.
Matt, thank you so much for participating in the project.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today.
Yes,
thank you
sir.
for your words of wisdom. I believe you mentioned that maybe you had something that you'd like to share with me.
I do. Now, this is for you, Studio Earthlings. I've got you covered here because this will be the first rendition of What on Earth is Going On, Host Edition. Now, I have a very special photo, which I'm going to show y'all, and Eric is going to see and hopefully put up on our screen here, but I'd love to hear his memory of this photo, maybe where he was, what was going on in his world, and I'll follow up with a question. Can we give some context around that there?
Yes, of course. Well, first, my cards include the Polaroid kind of look for each of them. So they're square. I handwrite where I was in that moment, and then my information's on the front. And this photo was taken in León, I believe, in Spain, while backpacking across the country. And along the way, you go to these giant cathedrals. They're almost like checkpoints, if you were to imagine like a map.
Yeah.
Where they are the thing you want to see. They are like typically even the places that have the hostels that you can stay in. And León being one of the big towns, they had one of the biggest, most beautiful cathedrals.
Massive.
And I remember just walking in, and I mean, you see those stained glass windows, you know, how tall and how big and giant and strong the building is, and these really delicate windows decorate it. And I think it was a really great way to kind of be a part of something so strong and so beautiful. And I'm glad that this photo maybe captured just a little slice of it.
It's so awesome too, because I recall so this was gifted to me by Eric, and originally he gave me the choice of 3 photos. It wasn't just the Spain, but it was from his travels. So I believe we had Santa Barbara as well as one of the options. Can't remember the third, but this one immediately stood out to me because of the color composition. For me, stained glass is super, super amazing in how it reflects light and looks so, so vibrant. And I guess my question to you would be, what is your philosophy on color in photo taking? Is there certain things that you look for? I know in some of your works, there have been photos devoid of color, for instance, like headshots, for example. But what is your philosophy around color in photography?
I think in this, to use the stained glass as an example, again, you could just have normal windows in a church, in any building, and accept all light. Light may be generally seemingly a good thing for a building to have, especially when it's made of stone and you know it's not going to let in anything. And you want people to be able to see when they're walking in, sitting down, and participating in a service. But I think architectures, and specifically the style of art, specifically in the Christian Catholic way of doing stained glass, is that you take away maybe a bit of the clarity of things and you add story. So in this example, they do it literally by, if you look close enough, it's of people, it's of things, it's of passages in the Bible represented in the stained glass.
Yep.
So with story, it's less clear sometimes to extract information from, right? But there is something about storytelling that is engaging to people. So if you see a color photo, the engagement, either nostalgia or the perspective of that colorful thing, I think it means something a little different to everyone, but it's something that everyone can grab onto.
Yeah.
While something like black and white is a bit more clear and defined and devoid of maybe those like universal storylines, and maybe just leave you with the most essential information.
Yeah. Very, very well. As they say, black or white.
Yeah.